for another episode of Leadership of the Leaf, now in their third season. More leadership topics to discuss and more cigar knowledge to share with great pairings. Grab a cigar, give it a cut and light, and put some smoke in the air with your host, Dice and Austin.
Welcome to another episode of Leadership of the Leaf. My name is Austin.
Hey, Home Slice. My name is Dice.
Oh, Mr. Dice. How's it going, my friend?
It's going well, man. It's going well, you know. Do a little bit of chores here and there, and then you just pick up and keep moving, baby.
Yeah, you don't want to leave those dirty bowls in the sink.
Right. They attract bugs.
Yeah, you want ants? This is how you get me.
This is how we get ants, Lana.
All right, sir, I got to know, what are you smoking on tonight? Actually, what are we smoking on? Because we're smoking the same thing.
Smoking the same thing. And we visited this company in TPE, and they was just starting out, and we was like, man, it's kind of crazy to start a cigar company now. And he was like, well, you know, I'm going to do however. Then it is Ross Family Cigars. It's actually Rick Ross, but not Rick Ross the boss. Ross. Not that Rick Ross. Not that one. His actual name happened to be Rick Ross. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I do remember this booth. I thought their band was actually pretty awesome. Their little emblem here, the tree there. I remember them talking to us about it a little bit, about how the tree emblem on their band signified their like family tree and all that sort of stuff, which was really kind of cool. But I 100% agree with you, because I remember seeing the 2023, and I remember making the comment to you, these idiots started a cigar company after COVID. Or like, what moron would do that? And then we talked to them, and they're actually really, really nice individuals. I was just sitting there making comments, but it was hilarious to me. I was like, why would you start a cigar company, you know, 2 years after the recovery of COVID?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ship shit around the world. I think that's a great idea. I'm gonna make, you know what? I know this is a sickness of the lungs, and I want to make cigars.
I thought it was a little far-fetched too, but I mean, they did what they did. He was very strong in talking about family. I do remember that, because he was talking about the tree. I did kind of browse his line that he has now, because this is definitely a sample cigar that we have. His lineup is now, I guess he has more SKUs, because he has one that's labeled Rick Ross. He has like 3 more. I can't remember the name of them, but it's named after his kids. And then there's one that's called like Pro Roscoe or something like that. I think it's a play on like Prosecco, but whatever. I don't know. And as of right now, I thought it was going to like burn very shitty. Not going to front, but it's actually burning very well. Mine is. I can say mine is burning.
No, yeah, mine's burning really well. I'm just trying to get some flavor notes off these first couple initial puffs. There's definitely a hay component into this. I was there on the cold draw, but
no, I don't. I'll talk about it when we get to our first third. I don't want to miscue anything right now. But there's part of me that really wants to know what you're drinking.
Well, we know what you're drinking. The Tennessee, got it, understood. VSOP probably, or VS. Who fucking even gives a shit anymore? It's the same shit, different day. I had to finish off the bottle. It was staring at me again. These bottles. I don't know where they go, but they disappear in my house. So I'm pairing this with a Glenfiddich Scotch 12 year.
Scotch.
It finished off the bottle. So, yeah. I was like, you know what? I wanted a stable pairing, right? I know what the whiskey tastes like. I know what the Scotch tastes like by itself. Let's add a new component. I didn't want to do 2 news and not know where the hell I'm at. So I wanted to go with something stable that I'm familiar with.
Well, you definitely put more thought in that than I did.
Well, you didn't just grab Hennessy off the fucking your table of bottles?
No, sir. I went out and purchased that LeBron James collaboration, and I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I did not. I did not. Listeners, I'm kidding.
Are you drinking it on the floor, crying?
I'm not. I'm gonna be honest. I will purchase a bottle, but it will not be for drinking.
Crying too.
I am drinking a Manhattan, sir.
Ooh.
Manhattan. It's Hennessy, vermouth, and bitters with cherry and orange slices for color, I guess. I don't know.
There's a weird flavor to this cigar that I cannot figure out what it is. It's like almost a fig, but it's not. It's gonna bug the crap out of me while I figure this out. Anyways, our cigar topic is the principle of smoking cigars.
Principle of smoking a cigar. What is the principle of smoking a cigar?
Well, we'll have to get into it to learn about it, but I want to know, what is our leadership topic?
Why should leaders push principles and not rules? There seems to be a theme here.
Why are they pushing principles? They're just trying to run a school.
Boo. Send your hate mail to
at Leadership of the Leaf.
Co-host Austin, subject line.
He sucks. He made a dad joke. Got it.
Fucking guy.
All right, let's get into our cigar segment, the principle of smoking cigars. So probably the most common principle for enjoying a cigar is the nearly universal belief amongst cigar smokers. I gotta say that because I can't say it's a universal belief amongst everybody, because there's some of those haters out there. They believe that it's the perfect way to relax, though, right? You sit down, you get your drink, you get your little... We've talked about the meditation aspect of it. You know, you go through your lighting ritual and cutting ritual and blah, 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 blah. So it's a great way to relax. There's nothing quite like a leisurely smoke to take your mind off of everyday concerns. So the principal process of relaxing begins with the realization that your cigar demands time. Well, it's potent when you think about it. Like, everyone knows this is going to be about an hour smoke. This is going to be about a 2 hour smoke.
Yeah.
But it's demanding that time where it's like, hey, I have to sit down and pay attention to this for a couple hours. Oh. Like, fractionally saying it kind of makes it real, which is weird.
Right.
Cigar smoking can't be hurried or rushed. No matter what the curves of life are throwing at you, enjoying a cigar will force you to slow down and unwind.
Yeah, there's many of evenings or whatever. I'm home from work, whatever, honey-do list, bowls being washed from the sink, whatever the honey-do list could consist of. Sitting out in my backyard with a cigar. Once that cigar is lit, the family pretty much knows that's it. I'm not doing anything else. What's that T-shirt that says I'm holding a cigar? So yeah, I'm pretty busy. Yeah, that's me. Once I light up, that's pretty much me. Like, what you want me to do? What? Look, I'm holding a cigar. I'm doing something.
I am doing something. I think the only exception is grilling.
Well, yeah, because I'd rather, well, normally if I'm grilling, it's not going to be an uber expensive cigar, and normally it's going to be a nub. Not able to kind of control that. Well, for me,
grilling. What do they say? Grilling / smoking, like smoking meat. Where it's like, let me smoke a brisket low for like 8 hours.
Okay.
And it's like, all right, I'll sit back and I'll watch my ass grow.
You said ash, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think I said?
Hey, I'll let the listeners decide what it sounded like you said. I'll let them decide that. I just want to clarify.
This is a family show.
Fuck, it is. I mean, yeah, it is.
Motherfuckers. I mean, what?
So this whole process that you was talking about, relaxing, the principles of the cigar in a whole, relaxing begins as the cigar is being prepared for smoking, the number one step you got to do is you have to select your cigar. There's a process for that. For me, there's a process for that. I can't speak for everyone. Depending on what mood I'm in. Depending
on there's a process for you?
Yeah, it is. Like, I have to decide. Like I really want to smoke Romeo and Juliet Midnight Reserva, and then you go to your humidor and be like, guess I'm not smoking that one tonight because fuck, I don't have that in there. Yeah, what the hell? So it's a process. So I was already thinking of that cigar before I walked to the humidor, and then I go in there and it's not there. So now I am disappointed, and I probably disappoint a few other people. So then you just go and depending on what mood you're in, what you feel like smoking, how long are you planning on being outside? How long do you want to smoke? Like the size, the shape, the flavor profile, the color, everything. That's part of the, first step process of this principle.
Yeah, because once you pick out your cigar, you need to inspect it, right? You got to smell, you got to taste, hold it in your fingers. Now, there's a caveat, right, to the tasting of the cigar. If you're at a fucking lounge, don't slobber all over this fucking cigar and they go, no, this tastes pretty good, I'm going to go ahead and cut it. Or even worse, no, this tastes pretty good, I don't like this one, I'm going to put it back. Bitch, you just slobbered all over that cigar, you better not put that shit back.
It's a good rule of thumb that if you pick up a cigar, actually, like, literally pick it up, you might as well go ahead and get it. Just get it. You might as well. Just go ahead. Do it.
That's a dangerous principle to live by, my friend.
Just do it. Do it, sir. Well, I mean, you look with your eyes, right? Yeah. Especially you'll be like, look at the fucking band on that one. Woo! Damn, that's a sexy motherfucking cigar. If you pick it up, buy it.
So, all right, got a question then. I have questions.
All right. I'm going to just randomly call on Austin.
Yay. What is somebody like a cigar manager, right? This person in the humidor helping you, like a sommelier, whatever we want to call them, the aficionado, humidor, hands you a cigar to hold. Do you have to purchase that one?
I'm going to say no on that one.
Okay.
I'm going to say no on that one. Because he probably hand you one that he's already handed to like 30 other people.
This motherfucker in Bern handed me a fucking $150 cigar.
Oh, no.
I don't want to purchase this. It was a sexy beast, though. Man. Yeah. But anyway, I was like, I wasn't going to pick it up. I looked at it and it looked nice. And he's like, he picked it up and handed it to me. I was like, I don't want to pick it up.
Yeah, because if what happened if you had dropped it right there? He handed it to you.
I'd have been so just distraught. I was like, I guess I'll get that one.
Yeah, that's like at Starbucks when you're trying to pay with your phone. That's why they hold the little scanner up instead of taking your phone and scanning it.
Yeah.
Because if they drop your phone, then what? You dropped it.
You dropped it. You dropped it.
Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, I mean, of course, I am playfully bantering. You do not have to purchase every cigar you pick up,
or do if you got the money.
But if you have the money and you pick up a cigar, you're interested enough in that cigar that you picked it up.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway.
Okay. So after you do your close inspection, because you're looking for like beetle holes and all kinds of stuff like that, right?
Not all over it.
The next thing you want to do is decide and figure out how you want to cut that cigar.
Yeah, because you might have a cap that splinters on you and breaks off.
Wait, yeah, because the cigar felt a little hard when I picked it up. And I guess you didn't follow the second step by like touching it and feeling.
Nope.
So
I'm focused on other things, sir.
So you deep V cut yours, right?
Yeah.
So
that choice on the cigar for me.
If you kept a journal and you put this cigar in your journal, you will leave a note in your journal saying, "Hey, doesn't respond well with deep V cuts."
At least this one didn't. Which I thought it was like for a second there. After you said the the hardness. I checked my humidor after you said that. Went on my phone. I have the app for my humidor stuff, right? And my humidor's sitting at a solid 66%.
Yeah, so
I was
you're
like,
good.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
So this is just a hard cigar.
It's just a hard cigar. Unlike you, I punched mine.
I noticed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, you got to take a look at the caps because there are some caps out there that are very shallow caps, and they don't respond well to things like deep V cuts. So you'd want to guillotine cut those or punch them or something along those lines. You got to make sure you look at that cap and select the right cut for that cap. And then finally, you're going to toast the foot of your cigar with flame. This is not within your mouth. You're holding the cigar in one hand, holding the lighter in the other, and you're watching it. You're just lightly toasting it using the fucking newbie, man.
Continue on. Why did you stop in the middle of what you were saying to say such audacity?
This is using the heat off the flame, not the flame actually touching the cigar, but the heat above the flame to just kind of toast that foot of your cigar.
Yeah, like when I was toasting mine, you point out that the outer ring and not the middle was like lit properly. So I had to go back in. I did not drop ash in my lap. Just saying. I know you paused in the middle for some reason when you was going over your notes there. I did not drop ash in my lap.
Hey, could you just stand outside? I think I hear thunder.
And the cherry part of the ash was not in my lap burning. That did not happen. Oh.
Yes.
My brand new chair.
Greatest thing you can hear as you're like sliding stuff off.
Oh, you can hear that, huh? Huh. Wonder what that noise was. All right. For some people, this whole process can be elaborate and calming ritual that is serious as, people drinking spirits and recognizing and appreciating the different nuances on the nose of a spirit of some sort. It can be as elaborate as you want it to be, or it can be as simple as you want it to be. But either way, no matter how you go about this business, the lighting ritual of a cigar has to become a ritual. You can't just, like a cigarette, you can't just put the flame to it and puff, puff, and you're good to go. There is going to be a ritual to it, whether it's quick, 5 seconds, or you fucking torch half your cigar. However you do it, it's your ritual.
Yeah, I mean, and my ritual is not elaborate by any means. I take my cutter 9 times out of 10 again, it's a DC cut. And I cut it, I get the schmuckus out of my cigar, and then I always take my cigar cutter and I dump it upside down about 3 times to get anything that's like in the gears or whatever out. And then I close it and set it down, and I look at my lighter and I kind of fiddle with my lighter as I kind of think about stuff, and I do a cold draw, and then I go, and then I light my lighter and I toast the foot of my cigar. It's nothing. Takes me 10 seconds out of all of that?
Feels like forever.
No, shut up.
Yeah, no, it's not a long ritual, but some people have like their whole lighting ritual where they use a match and they strike it, and then they light the cedar with their match and they wave it all around like it's some felt tip pin that they showing off before they write their haiku on fucking sheepskin paper. Some people do all that. Like that's their ritual. That's what they want to do. And other people like me just burn the shit out of the cigar and let's get this party going.
IQ on sheepskin paper.
Yeah. Are you writing that down?
Yeah, right? So once you go through your ritual and you're finished with all your prep, the cigar is ready for you to enjoy, which is the principal reason for starting the whole ritual in the first place, so you can enjoy your cigar. That's like, hey, I'm going to light this fire so I can make a steak. And you go through the whole trouble of lighting a fire, and then you're like, all right, I guess I'm going to douse it out now. Like, what the? No. You gotta enjoy do the stuff. Like,
do the thing. Do that thing that you was doing.
Yeah, like or cooking the whole steak and then being like, well, that sucks, and just chucking it off the side of the mountain or something. I don't fucking know, but it's like, no, stop. You got to take it slow. The first few puffs, you got to life is going to slow down. The day's concerns are going to begin to fade to that background. You're going to be more focused and intentional on focusing on this cigar and what's the flavor profile. What's my notes? How's the draw? How does it feel in my hand? Does the mouthfeel feel right? Did I cut the cap? Did I do all this stuff? And then as you get into it, you go, okay, got it. And then, you might ask a question like, what's your first third like?
Well played, sir. I see you, Austin. I see you.
That was flow.
Matt, I've been trying to pull flavors out of this. And like you, I'm having trouble like fine-tuning it.
Is there a musty taste to this?
I equate that to like a barnyard. And I have forego after the first couple of minutes of the show of drinking anything to just so I know my palate is just this cigar. So I don't want my Manhattan fruity flavors to try to interfere. And I'm just really.
There's like a barnyard. I don't even want to say sweetness. Like it's almost like it's like a barnyardy fig type thing.
I was gonna say prune.
Yeah, it's weird.
When you say weird like that, you're kind of giving it a negative connotation. It is different.
I'm gonna reserve judgment on it. It's different. I don't know. It's interesting to say the least. Let's put it that way.
Hey, yeah, it's definitely interesting. I'm gonna go with the barnyardy prune.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with that for my first third, sir.
It almost tastes like a musty barnyard prune. I don't know if it's the prune part making the barnyard musty, or I don't know, or if the barnyard makes the prune musty. I don't know. It just tastes different. Anyway, we'll continue on.
Another principal reason for smoking cigars is the camaraderie shared among those who appreciate the cigar.
Motherfuckers. I mean, what?
There's certainly nothing wrong with the solidarity. Did I say that right? Yeah. In fact, it could be a great way to enjoy a cigar, with your buddies and your chums.
By yourself. Solitary by yourself.
You're right. And then I said it also could be a good, like, for your chums, like you. Yeah. Okay.
Huh? Chum?
Yeah. Sharing that occasion with friends can really add to the enjoyment, unless you're Austin. It's a nice way to spend time together, smoking with your buddies, maybe playing a friendly game of Domino You Didn't. Okay. Friendly game of dominoes, sharing of stories of the past.
You mean like that time that I whipped your ass in dominoes?
Yeah. Yeah, I can honestly say I'm pretty confident we've kind of went back and forth a little bit. You may have won the last game we played. May have. My memory is not there.
Pictures.
We don't need to brag.
But I also got pictures of you winning. So.
I also got pictures of me washing dishes.
What?
That's what it's called.
Huh?
When you're mixing the dominoes up on the table.
I know.
Oh my God. How big of a rookie are you? When's the last time you played?
When's the last time we played together?
Oh, wow. I played my kid since then.
Yeah. My kid's 6. He doesn't quite know how to throw bones yet.
Get the color ones. That's what my kid started with, like Little Mermaid or some shit. I don't even know. Disney princesses. I got pictures of us playing dominoes with Disney princess.
I got it. Yeah, anyway. All right. We'll continue on because, we're retelling stories past. So there's even a special name for cigar camaraderie and fellowship. If you spend enough time around cigar smokers, you're bound to eventually hear the term herf.
I have heard that term.
Nobody seems to know where or how the word originates, but all seem to agree that it comes shorthand for let's get together and enjoy a smoke. A herf can be anything from an informal affair involving two dudes enjoying cigars on a patio to a formal party with dozens of guests and having a great time in a lounge or something. Herfing is what happens when cigars are fired up with friends after a great day of hunting.
So you can say every time we do a podcast, we're herfing. This is a herf session.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Let's every time you ask me to come out and smoke, I'll be like, "You want me to herf?" Is that what you're asking me to do right now?
That is definitely a cigar term used for those type gatherings. But I'm just go out and I'm gonna just say it right now. You can hate mail me up. I don't like that word. I don't like it.
Why?
It doesn't. No, it just like maybe if there was more of a background story to it, but like herf. What the fuck is a herf? It's a gathering of the juggalos, and we're gonna herf. Like you know, like you can trace a juggalo back. Be like, oh, these are the insane clown posse people. Blah 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 blah. What? Okay. Technicians, like Tech 9 fans, we're getting together. Yeah. Oh. So now let's get together and herf.
The fuck?
Right. It just doesn't. I just don't care too much for it, sir. Makes me think of sheep.
That'd be a herd.
Correct, but it makes me think of sheep. Anyway, I'm entitled to that.
You're entitled to your opinion, as much as it may or may not be correct.
Cigar smokers are a friendly bunch. So, cigar smoking seems to be a great equalizer and remove social boundaries, which we have said numerous times. Cigar shops are places where folks from every walk of life can get together and smoke and enjoy each other's company. What shops have in common is the cigar lifestyle, the herfing. It binds us all together. No one cares about life outside the shop. Inside, it's all about cigars, sports. Some people may want to share their thoughts on politics. Occasional, there could be some spirits passed around, or you can just, talk shit about your wives. Doesn't matter. You're inside the shop. In many ways, cigar shops have taken the place once occupied by barbershops in the neighborhood gathering as a place where everyone is welcome. Now, I don't know about you growing up, but for me growing up, a barbershop was like one of those spots. People will go there and just hang out. People go there and play dominoes. They're not getting a haircut. They're just there to hang out with everyone there, and there is a lot of shit talking. It's very similar to when we went to Tobacco Leaf.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and that I don't remember. I do remember barbershops being somewhat of a place to hang out. I saw a bunch of old heads sitting there playing chess in the corner and talking just crap or whatever. I mean, shit. LeBron James has his little show, The Shop.
Yeah, and that's in a barbershop, right? Yeah,
and that's in a barbershop. Yeah, so he's kind of bringing back in a certain way. I had a barber back in Florida. He was literally going to open up a barbershop attached to a cigar shop. And he was going to have best of both worlds. And I was like, dude, that is shit, man. Like, he was very old school in that way. Like, he had a pool table in his barbershop. So he was just like, yeah, come hang out, do whatever, get a haircut, whatever. So it's very cool kind of place to have that. A lot of people nowadays don't think of barbershops as being that way anymore. You don't, everyone, it's a business. Get in, get out, fuck, moving. So definitely times have changed, I'd say.
Yeah.
But another reason for smoking cigars is the taste. Now I know what you're thinking. Cigars smell like shit often. Yeah, you're wrong.
Sound like my
wife. So this is as important as pretty much any other reason. Cigars come in a wide variety of shapes and styles from an amazing number of different locations. The one we're smoking from tonight is Dominican Republic. So they come from all around the world. I've smoked stuff, Dice has smoked stuff from, Amsterdam?
Yeah.
And
yeah. No, not Amsterdam, sorry. Copenhagen. Yeah.
I've smoked stuff from England and there's a Slavic country. I think it was Norway that I smoked one from at one point. But it's everything's not surprising. There's not characterized by a wide array of flavors. I mean, if you ever seen a giant flavor wheel, I mean, there's a bunch of them. So that's as much like wines, whiskey, spirits, that sort of stuff. Where one person's favorite drink is not necessarily another's. Picking a favorite cigar is determined by an individual's palate.
There's definitely a wide array of flavors and everything there. If you haven't looked at a flavor wheel, please look at one. There's so many different flavors on that flavor wheel. And the flavors didn't get there by accident. Each of those flavors on there's a cigar out there that's going to match up to those flavor profiles without a shadow of a doubt. And my goal in life is to cover every single one of those. Bingo. I want to cover the card, baby. Of all the different flavors. Are you not with me here?
Oh, no, I get it. I 100%. I just think it was dumb.
Again, send that hate mail too.
Bingo, line. You're out here playing blackout.
Four corners, bitch. Another great principle to cigar smoking that some people may not even really pay much attention to. If your favorite team is winning big, it makes it more memorable. When you see someone win a championship or whatever, they don't fucking take a bite out of a nice red shiny apple.
Yeah.
No, they do not, sir. No. MJ definitely has a cigar in his mouth, enjoying it, his victory cigar, and if you're anything like me or even them, it's a possibility that next time you light that cigar up, you're going to be like, this is that cigar we won a championship with.
It's the funniest thing, too. If you watch college football, you get to see a bunch of college kids smoke the wrong end of a cigar, which makes me laugh every fucking time.
I still have that picture. It's definitely for those memorable moments, like having a child, here, have a cigar.
It's a boy.
Did we share that joke on that? I don't know if we shared that. Did we share that?
I don't think so.
The comedian was like, hey, I heard you like cigars. I do. Which is your favorite cigar? I don't know. It's a boy. It didn't. Anyway. Those memorable moments for special occasions, marriage. A lot of times the grooms or whatever, they'll get together after the marriage thing and they go off in their corner and have a cigar and talk shit. I'll talk about what bridesmaid is they're going to hook up with. I don't know. It's definitely a cigar for those enjoyable moments in life. And I guarantee you, if you was to light one up for a memorable moment, if you was to light that cigar up again, you'd be like, I remember that.
So what's funny is I'm almost positive. The night I brought my son home from the hospital, obviously I was not able to help in any way, shape, or form with feeding of the child. So I went outside and smoked, right? But it was an underground Maduro.
Yeah.
Which is by far one of my favorites.
It's definitely a go-to for, I think, both of us, to be honest.
Yeah. And so that always was a nice thing. 6 years later, here I am.
I hate Maduros.
I hate
I'm kidding.
So the process of cigar enjoyment can be as entertaining and it's a never-ending journey. As the cigar market is huge and constantly evolving. But once you find that perfect cigar or cigars, flavors become something to look forward to enjoying. This is true whether you just have found something brand new to you, or even brand new, or a new favorite, or whatever, or an old standby like a Maduro, like that Underground Maduro we talked about. It's been around for years. These flavors enhance just the pleasures of life. You know, those small moments that just go, this is really nice. Hey, I graduated with my bachelor's degree. I'm gonna smoke a cigar. Hell yeah. Hey, I moved into my first house. I'm gonna smoke a cigar. Hell yeah. Do it. Like, what? I think we talked about it with Tim, actually. Like, what is a special occasion for these cigars? And he was like, what occasion is special to you?
Yeah, he did point that out.
You know, everybody's different. You know, maybe it's you know, getting your first car. You know, that you bought yourself, that you didn't have to have a parent help or something else. Maybe it's moving into your first home that you bought by yourself or your wife or whatever, right? It's these little moments that just kind of go, oh, this is nice. You know, there's nothing quite like laying down or sitting on your back patio of your house that you own and just enjoying something and going, this is my shit. This is my fucking property.
This is my shit.
Yeah. But no doubt there's other principles for smoking cigars. One immediately comes to mind is the perfect pairing of your favorite cigar and libation. Ooh, that is a big word.
Yay.
Spirit. It's just that perfect pairing that can make them both taste even better. Keep smoking. Really, really keep on relaxing. And smoking the cigar can help you slow down and unwind that stress of the day, week, month, year, whatever it is. Just take that time and blow out your cares.
You know how in like some of the cartoons and the main character, whatever, drinks something that make them super hyper, and then they go walking through life, and everything around them is just like moving slow and just like in a very slow motion as he walks through everything or whatever. To me, when I had a hectic day, hectic work week, whatever, and I'm about to light up and take that first puff, everything around me seems to like just slow way the fuck down. And it may not in real life, but in my head, that's how it all goes. Everything just seems to like almost stop in time until I realize like, I'm enjoying a cigar. Life is good. And then like reality comes back in.
Yeah. See, so for me, like I smoke on my back patio. Sometimes I'll smoke out here with my wife. Sometimes I won't. Those days that I don't smoke out here with her, there's a good chance that I forget anything's even happening in my house.
Yeah.
I literally just don't even think about it. Outside here, and I'm looking at the stars, just kind of looking at the world going by, and I'm just like, I'm good. And I totally forget that there's a house behind me, and it has a dog and a wife and my 6-year-old in it that are doing whatever, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's a thing there. Oh, yeah. I should probably worry about that. Whatever. I'm supposed to cigar.
We say that. I don't want people to think that happens every single time I light up a cigar. It does not happen every single time I light up. Sometimes I light up a cigar because I want the flavor, I want the taste, I want to sit back and relax and enjoy. But especially after just feel like I've been carrying the world all week. Those are the moments. Yeah, that's my principle of smoking a cigar.
100% agree. But a real question is why wouldn't you smoke a cigar?
Please. You know how much better the world would be?
If everyone just slowed down?
Yeah.
And it was intentional on things every once in a while?
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. There's certain times where it's just one of those. I've come home in the middle of the week, I've gotten done, and I'm like, I have an hour before bed. And I got to wake up early the next day to make sure I get to work for a big presentation or whatever. I'll just go in the cigar, the humidor, grab a stick, come out here. Mom's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I just need to smoke. She goes, okay. And I just go and I sit and smoke and I put on music or I put on like a mindless show or whatever, and I just sit here and just zone out.
Yeah, absolutely. Even to almost a point where I'm just trying to figure out the flavors of the second third of a cigar.
I was gonna tie it in with the real question though is what's your second third, but that was even better. Man, God, this is such a hard cigar to put my finger on.
Mine got a little, not a lot, a little spice to it now.
Yeah.
Okay,
I get
I'm
a
not
spice.
tripping.
I still get a barnyard. I get like a that prune has kind of faded. I don't know if it's prune, but it's faded to the back, and I got a little bit of spice with it now.
Yeah, not like anise. It's not quite cinnamon. Coriander.
Maybe.
It's a spice. It's a light spice because it's definitely not hitting hard on the palate like a pepper, but it's definitely a light spice. Maybe a slight dusting of cinnamon, maybe. But definitely, I definitely got a musty barnyard that is still like numero uno, with some kind of figgy, pruny flavor profile. And again, I have not taken any of my libations because I want to try to pull these flavors out without. Because I've never smoked this cigar before, so I don't want to.
This one is difficult. You know what it almost reminded me of? Hold on. No, I was thinking maybe black cherry, but it's not quite there. It's not quite sweet enough.
Yeah, I don't really have a tartness to it either, though.
Yeah, that's all I was like. No. It's not that. I'm going through my wheelhouse right now. I'm trying to figure something out.
Like a watered down cherry, maybe. I will give you that. Okay. Well, while we ponder on life's wonderful questions, we'll go to a break and come right back.
Sounds good.
Have you ever wanted to suggest a new leadership or cigar topic to your favorite podcast?
I would like to, but I don't think they would listen.
Well, that's not the case with Leadership of the Leaf.
Really?
Yeah, only thing is you need to do is comment on their Instagram at Leadership of the Leaf, all one word, and they'll listen.
I'm on the Instagram page right now. There's a link in the bio. I can even email them.
You can also send them a private message, and they'll respond to your query.
Queries? Did you just say queries? Does that mean question?
Yes, it does.
Well, good. I have a few queries about cigars and a few about leadership.
Well, that's great. I can't wait for the next episode.
This is retired machinist mate first class George Kreischer, or better known as Crash. And you are listening to the Leadership of the Leaf, hosted by Dice and Austin.
All right, welcome back. We just had a quick little break there, and now I want to pose the question, because we can't figure out this flavor profile, why leaders should push principles and not rules. Didn't say follow, not follow rules, just not push rules.
Oh,
because they got to have rules. You got to have rules.
Anarchy.
Okay.
No? All right. So rules cover specifics, focusing on the instance at hand. Principles cover generalities, allowing adaptation to unforeseen circumstances. So rules tend to coerce behavior, where principles inspire behavior. Monarchs impose rules and punish noncompliance, and leaders tend to teach correct principles and reward initiative. I think the favorite excuse of people, especially like in the military, like have you ever done the World War tribunals, like in World War II and stuff? But I was just following the orders. I was just following the rules.
Yeah.
Enterprising leaders, on the other hand, prefer principles. Here, so we got 3 findings from a research study on how to set guiding principles that will drive positive results.
Yeah, I think one key one in the whole rule and the whole principle aspect of from leadership is to stay optimistic. Well, institutions need rules for some reasons that the same reason like neighbors need fences, right? If you want to have those boundaries established and expectations. Sometimes you kind of need those rules in place. But a lot of times when these rules are like that, managers fall into a trap when they promote rules above principles. Inevitably, they start pandering to the lowest form of authority. And this is where it goes to that saying that you were saying, I was just following orders. I was just following rules. At a minimum, okay, yeah, I was just following rules. That is baseline, the lowest you can go. That's it. I was just following rules. That's it. End of story. Why did you do that? I was following rules. As opposed to being optimistic to a more principled outlook of, like, I was trying to get the job done. I know the rules say this and this, but in order to meet our deadline, I kind of skipped over rule number 2 just so we can meet our deadline. Did it hurt anyone? Did it cause any damage? Just because I didn't use a blue pen, I used a black one instead. I know I broke the rule a little bit, but look at our reward that we got for that.
Yeah, it's if you have to fall back to you didn't follow the rules. You as a manager, as a leader, need to go, why didn't you follow the rules? What culture have I brought about? Have I instituted? Have I cultivated to allow people to only care about the rules, not the intent of the rules, right? Because I was thinking principles are more of the intent, and rules are black and white letter of the law, right? So the rule "don't steal" is the intent. You know, the intent is don't take things that don't belong to you, no matter how badly you need them. You know, that would be the principle behind the rule.
Right.
So,
you're in the same breath that you, because I was thinking almost the same thing. Like the rule for, let's say rules for school, right? Don't bring a gun to school. That's a rule. Okay, well, I didn't bring a gun to school. I brought a machete. Like, okay, how about this? Don't bring weapons to school.
right.
Okay, all right. The principle is we don't want to harm others at school.
We don't want to have the possibility of harming others at school.
Right. As opposed to, well, I didn't bring a gun. You said don't bring a gun. I'm following the rules at a minimum.
Yeah.
So, okay. So we're on the same page.
100%. So instead of seeing people as solutions, managers who enforce rules tend to see them as problems. They implement and enforce unenthusiastic policies based on assumptions that team members are unmotivated, incompetent, and dishonest. And I hate to say that there's a reason for rules, right? Like there's always a reason for. It's the same thing for like warning labels. Don't use the blow dryer in the bathtub. Why the hell do they have that? Everyone would know that not to use the. No, it's because they got sued because somebody used a blow dryer in the bathtub to try to get some shit done. They got electrocuted. Or it's like, okay, that I would think that would be common sense, but apparently not.
Right. Like, again, for someone using a blow dryer in a bathtub or whatever, in the shower, whatever, that is caused on whatever principles that they were raised with, whatever values that they grew up with. I'm not saying that people are bad parents or anything. It's just one of the things that, let's say I was stupid poor my whole childhood, and I'd never seen a blow dryer in my life. Now all of a sudden I got one. I want to use it real quick. Why not go and use it in the shower? Well, maybe that person just doesn't know. But if they read the warning label, then they'll read the rules where don't use in the shower or in water or whatever the fuck, right? So the rule is there for the people that don't know better. But for as principle and values, I would hope, again, hope it's not a strategy, that people are raised different and better to understand that it's you don't want to harm yourself or others.
Splish splash toaster bath.
What?
Splish splash toaster bath.
I need you to sign these papers. Ignore the life insurance that's at the top. Just sign. Just go and sign it.
Okay, sure thing, bud.
It's a rule. You have to sign it.
So posting rules on a break room fridge about not stealing food, for example, suggests your coworkers lack integrity. Now, and again, there's a reason for that rule. Maybe fucking Brenda keeps stealing your fucking lunch and you see her over there eating it. And you're like, bitch, I fucking wrote my name on that shit. Stop. Just like professors, when they assume anyone repeating or reporting a grandmother's death is looking for a way to avoid school homework. It's because people have been duped too many damn times, or something like that has happened. There's a whole reason, again, it just goes back to the warning label situation. The whole reason we have to do this is because some idiot did it the first time. They took something that didn't belong to them. They were dishonest to get out of homework or a speeding ticket or whatever. Like, we shouldn't have to have this. Like, everyone should just be honest. But then again, the world's not an honest place, so this is why we have laws and rules.
Right. But this disparagement spreads until people are trapped in the system to lower their standards to meet compliance. So if Brenda's the one stealing all the food, and she's still stealing the food, there's a sign on the fridge and she's stealing the food, you know what? I'm gonna just steal someone else's food. Brenda stole my food, so I'm gonna steal someone else's food. This is how it's gonna go, because obviously no one is following the rules anyway. Now you lower yourself to that standard, to where you would not, right? But because that sign and because Brenda's constantly doing it, you're going to lower yourself to that standard. The level of motivation, competence, and honesty declines. As saying goes, garbage in, garbage out. Bad rules produce bad attitudes.
Yeah. I always got really demotivated when you go into a place and they're like, oh yeah, we have, to remind everybody of these rules, we have them posted throughout the place. And you go into the bathroom and it's like, remember to flush the toilet and wash your hands. Well, yeah, of course I'm going to flush the toilet and wash my hands. What do you think, I was born in a barn? Like, shit. Like,
we just had an outhouse.
Yeah, like, no, of course I'm going to, like, why would you have to post that? But it's because some asshole gave everybody pink eye because he took a shit and didn't wash his hands and went and touched a bunch of forms. Now half the office has got pink eye. Thanks, Dave. Like,
Dave.
Like, that's why the rules are posted there, because somebody did it. Well, so garbage in, somebody did it, you get garbage out. Bad rule. They shouldn't have to tell employees to wash your fucking hands before you go handle food. Shit, there's a restaurant here in my town that had to shut down for cleaning because they had a bacteria outbreak. I don't ask me to pronounce the name of the bacteria. It's something I can't pronounce. But I Googled it, right? I was like, oh, what the fuck? How does this work? What causes it, right?
Yeah.
Unwashed vegetables and food, and not washing your hands after going to the bathroom.
Wow.
I'm not gonna say the name of the restaurant because it's a big chain, but I was like, "Are we fucking serious?" So now the company is the sign on their door. We're closed due to this for cleaning, voluntary cleaning, and an increase of staff training or something along those lines. And I was like, "How sad is it that you have to train your staff out of what? You're a restaurant.
Yeah.
You think that safe food handling techniques would be like day one.
Correct.
How to wash your hands properly, day one. This is what your entire thing is.
And this is when the stay optimistic comes into play. Now, I understand they took very strong steps towards that, but if their leader of that whole establishment was focused on all the all the guidelines that are set for food handling and proper employee etiquette and all these type things, if the leadership was optimistic and continued this as a flowing process instead of worrying about it when it becomes a problem, instead of being ahead of the game and coaching throughout this whole process, then it's a possibility. I'm not going to say 100%, but it's a possibility that this could have been avoided, to where 5 of the employees, like, hey, let's do the right thing. And that one employee that's not doing the right thing, the other 5 would be like, hey, oh, what are you doing over here, Dave? You're fucking everybody up. Because that culture is there for everyone to be optimistic in this out view of what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah.
So strong leaders tend to work better in high performance environments. for the most part, with vision and ethical principles. They don't need thick manuals of do's and don'ts to tell them exactly how to do their job. You sit there and you give them guiding principles, right? Hey, our guiding principles is integrity always, service, and excellence. All right, I could take those three things, right?
Right.
I can take those three things and I can apply them to every situation, and I should be able to literally follow every single rule always. I'm gonna tell the truth. I'm gonna worry about my service and how I treat the customer. I'm gonna make sure that they got the right stuff that they need, and I'm gonna do it well. And then I'm gonna, bam, excellent. I'm gonna do it exactly how they need it, and I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability. I'm gonna make sure that everybody's taken care of. All of those three should handle every single situation. Those are three guiding principles, and should I sign my time card and say that I worked more hours than I actually did? Well, integrity. Nope. Then I can't do that because that'd be dishonest.
Correct. Again, if you build in that type of culture with your principles and your outlook on that amongst not just your staff, but your junior leaders and everyone involved, if one monkey wants to mess up, then everyone should jump in and be like, hey. I mean, but also in this process, you got to stay flexible. Flexibility with the rules, absent guiding principles could lead to trouble. But rigidity of these rules could backfire also, which means that sometimes you got to be flexible with the rules, not necessarily washing hands, but like I was saying, I don't have a blue pen. I'm going to use a black pen. I'm going to be a little bit flexible. I understand we're supposed to use a certain color pen. Right now we don't have it. I don't want to lose the sale. I don't want the business to go under or whatever. So I'm going to bend the rules a little bit. But where it causes problems is when you refuse to bend those rules, and then it's going to backfire on you in the long run, because you could have had $1 million deal on the table, but because I didn't have the right color pen.
Oh, it's in my car. I'm sorry.
I don't want to break the rules or anything, but we just lost $1 million sale. Right.
And that's where, each situation is 100% different. So, hey, here's my extenuating circumstances. I know I wasn't supposed to leave a dirty dish in the company sink, but I literally got a phone call on my cell phone that said, and it was a customer, and he told me, hey, I want to order $5 million with your product, and I rushed to my computer to go process the order. I know I'm not supposed to leave the dish in the sink, but I finished the order because I was so stinking busy. And I meant to go back for it later, but I was so busy processing the order, I just didn't get back to it. Got it. Flexibility in the rules.
Yeah. The dish should be in the sink later. It'll definitely be there for me to take care of later. But this $5 million deal may not be there later.
Exactly.
So, hey, Coach, which one do you prefer?
Yeah.
Well, sir, I have a zero tolerance for dishes left in the sink.
Listen, managers who hide behind zero tolerance policies tend to shirk their responsibility to distinguish among circumstances and individuals. Robots can do their jobs just as well. If you get a robot in there that says, you will be on the floor from 9 to 5. Okay, well, I gotta go piss. Or I gotta go take shit. Nope, you will be on the floor from 9 to 5.
Yeah, zero tolerance, sir.
Zero tolerance. Are you serious? I can't go to the bathroom? Really? All right, fine. I'm just going to piss and shit in a bucket or, in my pants or something. What do you want me to do?
He pooped his pants. He called this shit poop.
So, it's just one of those, there's got to be a little bit of flexibility for extenuating circumstances. Every situation is not the exact same. Can you draw on your experiences from previous situations that were similar in nature? Sure, absolutely. Can you sit there and apply that to every single situation and assume that you're always going to be right? No. Never in a million years will you be able to do that.
Well, ethical leaders teach principles and enable their teams to innovate. They start with trust. Trust.
Trust.
They start with trust.
Trust people?
And when someone violates that trust, the individual pays the consequences rather than the entire team or organization. So, what was her name? Brenda, Brandy, whoever was eating the food out of the fridge? We know it's you. Fucking stop eating other people's food. Instead of putting a note on the fridge that fucking belittles everyone, like they think I'm eating some. I'm not eating people's food. Everybody knows fucking Brenda.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of those things, you know, where you don't want to be an organization where one person shits, we all got to get changed.
Yeah.
One person shits their pants, so we all got to get changed. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
You know, I hate those type of leaders because it just drives me nuts. Whereas, okay, this one person fucked up and didn't follow the rules and got us a fine from OSHA. That doesn't mean we're all doing the exact same thing and going to get fines from OSHA. Like, yeah, we get it. That guy's an idiot. We've said he's an idiot from day one. Like, I don't know what you want us to do. Like, we've brought this up. Management refused to fire him. That's on you guys. I get it. I'm not supposed to use a backhoe as a fucking elevator. Got it.
I've said numerous times, I'm pretty sure loyal listeners may have heard it before. Sometimes you just need a sniper rifle instead of a shotgun.
Yeah. Yeah. Likewise, ethical leaders understand that an accommodation for one person, such as, you know, deadline extension or whatever on a class assignment, does not mean similar accommodations must be made for everyone. One size does not fit all. Just because that dude got into a car wreck and needs 2 extra days to finish his assignment because of the car wreck, he's sore and he's in the hospital, doesn't mean everybody gets fucking 2 extra days on the assignment. No, that's fucking stupid. He literally has extenuating circumstances. We're not going to give everybody an extension. Did you have a car wreck? No. Okay, then get your fucking shit done on time.
Billy, this is your 7th grandmother that has passed away. Sorry, buddy.
I got a large family.
My abuelo. Yeah, one size does not fit all, and so many times you've been in leadership roles. Of course, you've been in leadership roles, but in leadership roles, I know many of times you heard, "Well, you let Tom do it. Alan over there, he got away with it. Why are you focused on me?" Yeah. You don't know the backstory to Tim. You have no idea what Alan and I talked about. Right now, we're discussing you. Let me ask you a question, sir. Do you like fishing? Of course you do. When you go fishing, do you catch every single fish in the pond? Of course you don't. So right now, we're just focused on the fish that I have online right now, and that happens to be you, sir. Let's focus on that.
Yeah, I mean, there's people where I would let go, you know, like, so I had a situation. I'll give you an example. This happened in the real world.
Real world example. Hello.
Real world. So I was over a 150 person team.
Damn.
One person said, "Hey boss, I need to run to my house because my wife is throwing up and trying to take care of my 2-year-old daughter. Can I miss the CEO speech that is, or this training or whatever that's mandatory to go take care of the wife?" Yes, you may do that because family comes first, and I want you to make sure that your family is good. Hope your wife gets to feel better. It's Friday, to take the rest of the day off. Don't care. Next person, "Hey, I need to leave work early." For what reason? Well, I have a credit card bill that's due tomorrow and I need to go pay it. So can I miss the training? No, motherfucker. But let that guy do it. No, his wife is puking. He has a 2-year-old at home who's getting into everything, and he can't. Like, his wife is bent over the fucking porcelain god right now. Like, no. His 2-year-old is going to get into some shit that she shouldn't get into because his wife is too busy puking. Yes, he has extenuating circumstances. Your bill's not due till tomorrow. You can fucking call them after the training and get it taken care of. Because guess what? The fucking office is open until 6. and you get off at 5. So I can take care of it in that hour.
Yeah, well, completely. I thought you was going to say I had to take my cat to the vet. I actually got that one. I had to take my cat to the vet. Your cat to the vet? Get the fuck. Anyway, one is a responsibility issue that you failed at, and the other one is a circumstance that is out of anyone else's control.
Yeah. My 2-year-old's into everything. My wife's praying to the porcelain god, and I need to go home and take care of my 2-year-old. Done. Go. Bye.
My
Have
household
fun.
is in shambles, sir.
Yeah. 2-year-old's gonna get in shit. Hey, I need to go pay my credit card bill. Do that on your own fucking time.
The worst that can happen to you is you have to pay a late fee. And the worst that can happen to this person over here, the kid could eat a fucking Tide Pod.
Yeah, or get into rat poison or under the sink or something. I don't fucking know. Yeah, human life, credit card bill. Human life, credit card. I don't give a shit about a credit card bill. Get your ass to the fucking mandatory training.
Oh my goodness.
So the third principle is to stay grounded. Power to make and enforce rules can go to a person's head, right? Power corrupts.
Yeah.
Absolute power corrupts. Absolute. Those with minimal experience and options stay, but top talent on the team will walk out the door. If it gets too bad, everyone's going to leave. Guaranteed.
Yeah.
If you cannot sit there and remember where you came from, I read this on LinkedIn recently, and a lot of what CEOs and managers and leaders are finding now is rapid risers throughout their company are having problems once they reach a certain level, because what they failed to do, because they rose so rapidly, they were really good at their job, the technical aspect of their job. But what they failed to do at each individual level is cultivate their leadership skills. So now they're put in this position of this huge leadership role, and they have no fucking idea how to lead anything because they were promoted on their technical ability, not their well-roundedness, their leadership ability, and everything else. So now they have no idea how to get things done, how to motivate a team, how to lead a team, how to conflict manage, any of that sort of stuff, because they rose way too quickly.
And the only like leadership aspect, these quick burners, rapid risers, whatever you call them, only thing they have to fall back on is the rules and regulations, which is, we discussed earlier, is almost the lowest form that you can do.
Yeah, well, the rules say this and do that. Well, but my, training's mandatory. But my wife and my 2-year-old, yeah, but training's mandatory to get to the training.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do here for you, Bob. The rules say that you have to be here for this training. Nothing I can do. It's out of my hands. It's out of my hands.
I'd be irate.
I would say I'm just going to walk out, but I can't say that because I'm not in that situation. But I like to think of this something like I tell my kid, like in school, if you raise your hand or whatever, and he's like, hey, I need to go to the potty, and the teacher's like, well, no, you can't go because of whatever reason. And if she was to walk out because she needs to go to the bathroom or whatever, I got her back 100%. 100%.
Yeah. Now, if it's, hey, teacher, can I go whistle in the hallway? And I don't want to disrupt the class, and the teacher says no.
Yeah.
Then shut your ass up and sit in that class.
Yeah, come on. Stop it. I need to go to the bathroom and fix my hair.
Yeah, my kid literally did that, by the way.
I want to go out. I'm not going to say your son's name, but way to go, nephew.
Yeah. Side story, my kid got in trouble for whistling in class, so I said, why don't next time you feel like you just can't contain your whistles, why don't you ask your teacher if you can just go out in the hall and whistle for 5 minutes and then come back in the class so you don't disrupt the class. So he did it the very next day, and the teacher was like, yes, you can go out in the classroom, thank you for asking.
Yes!
And I was like, see? You never know what you're going to get until you ask. And he was so proud of himself for it, because he's like, they do a color chart on how good they do throughout the day, like clip up or clip down. He's like, I actually got to clip up because of that. And I was like, see, you didn't disrupt the class because you asked the question and you went out and you didn't disrupt. And he's like, I'm so happy. I was like, see, you never
amazing.
know.
Go, nephew, go.
It was the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. Heard him say that he got bonus points for it, so it cracked me up.
Man. Oh.
Anyway, sorry. Side note. That's made me laugh.
Well, because of these rigid rules and everything, that's why people leave companies. They're unhappy with the management because a lot of times management, there's rapid rises or whatever, all they have to fall back on is the rules. So people may stay because the job is challenging and they're insulated or isolated away from any kind of poor management. Like if you're kind of like your own kind of thing and you don't have to deal with poor decisions made by management, probably stay a lot longer. They don't really bother you. Who cares, right? But if you're one of those that's constantly getting bombarded by management and these rules that they implement over and over and over, more than likely you will be leaving that company. But when you have poor management at the top and you can do pretty bad damage to that company, it's one of those sayings where people don't leave bad companies, they leave bad leadership.
Yeah. So the way, it's actually funny that that's just brought up, because the whole reason that I left my last job was because of my leadership. I saw the writing on the wall. I was like, this leader sucks. They're terrible. I don't like working for them. The decisions that they make are garbage. So I applied for this job and I got it. And come to find out, 4 months later, 6 months later, that leader got fired.
Nice. Well, not nice, but yeah, good.
Yeah, right. And I was like, oh, well, what happened? Well, they weren't following their own rules, and they thought they were above the rules, so they got fired when their bosses found out. And it was one of those funniest things. And I was like, oh, thank goodness I got out of there when I did, because now I look back and I ask the people who are still in that old position, I'm like, hey, how is it going? They're like, we're struggle busting so hard right now. We're riding that struggle bus. And it's one of those things that just makes me happy that I saw the writing on the wall early and was able to get out early, because now I got great leaders who were like, yeah, you need this, go take care of it. Yeah, you need to go do that, go take care of it. No worries. Hey, yeah, you need an hour and a half lunch because you got to go drop your truck off at the dealership to get it worked on? Yeah, sure, take an hour and a half lunch. We don't care. You know, as long as your work's getting done, we're good with it. I'm like, this leadership's so great. I love it.
Because some people are probably going to jump on that. So I'm going to caveat that to, I know you as a person, and I know you get the job done and you do it very well with little to no like guidance from up above. Yeah. I know you take their leadership into play, but because of your work ethic and how you handle situations on your own, you are afforded certain opportunities.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where I don't do it all the time. My work is impeccable, and they never have says everybody. And I don't have to, like I said, I make the work up when I can. I do all of my work. I do a lot of work from my phone, so it's easy for me to take a lunch and go out to eat really quick at a restaurant, and then like make a couple work phone calls on the way back and get a bunch of stuff done. And I come back and they're like, "Hey, did you get?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is this, this is this, this is this. It's done. I'm about to type up a report." And they're like, all right, cool, thanks. No big deal. But strong individuals can switch into compliance mode when necessary. But eventually they're going to disengage or they're going to leave. This is where that quiet quitting comes from, or acting your wage.
Yeah.
Managers who ignore the warning signs will soon be left with a lame excuse. The dog ate my homework, the homework referencing the high performers. Leaders that recognize this can step in with a push on the principles instead of leading directly on the rules. There's certain times where I've had to go out to a person and I'm supposed to coach them, and I have feedback, and I've canceled the feedback, and or I've canceled the session, and they're like, well, hey, is everything okay? And I'm like, look, man, here's the thing. You're getting your work done. You're getting it done on time. You're getting it done to my high standards, in fact, higher than my standards. And there's no value added with us having this meeting. So I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste my time. So I definitely don't want to micromanage you. So I have no value to add to you right now. So I don't want to waste your time. I'm happy to have the meeting just to chat and catch up if you'd like, but I really don't want to waste your time. And they're like, oh, thank you so much. Yeah, no, I'm good without it. I appreciate it, boss. I'm like, look, man, I'm happy to tell you whether or not you're doing a good or bad job. I'll correct you, but you're doing everything I need you to, and there's no value added with us having this meeting, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel it. And 9 times out of 10, people will be like, oh, shit, hell yeah, I don't have to have this meeting? This is great. Okay, thanks, boss. And they go on happier about their day, that they didn't have a useless fucking meeting.
Well, think about if you did have the meeting with that individual and you just started no chewing gum at your desk, no coffee breaks between 9 and 10. Make sure your TPS ports are signed in blue ink. Just going down all the rules and regular rules and stuff that your job may have. I'm just making up stuff on the spot, but let's say you was just reading the riot act of all the rules in the company's manual. That individual who is a high performer that does none of those things at all, and now he's going to confuse, like, why the fuck are you doing this? So now, all right, if this is what he wants, then okay, I'm gonna dumb myself down to what my leader, my manager, my boss just came and read me the riot act for no reason at all. I thought I was doing fucking shit hot, but here I am. I want to make sure I follow these rules and guidelines, and now I guarantee you, the work level, the high performance of that person will decrease and decline to a point where he's just gonna, as we said before, jellyfish through. Just is this the minimum that you want me to go? Okay, fine, I'll do that and make sure I don't break any of the rules. You totally demotivate that person.
Yeah, whereas I'm going to cancel it because I'm going to cancel this meeting and I'm not going to read you the riot act because I have zero issues with you, and until I see some issues or I see you slipping, then I'll step in, and I'll remind you of the principles that keep you, grounded or whatever. Our world's full of uncertainty, and if asked, some people, they're going to say that, hey, I'm overwhelmed. And I'm certain you've heard the spiritual principle will never be given more than we can handle. So principles often offer a quiet force of equilibrium. It's never, where you will follow the rules to get more accomplished. It's usually follow the rules so you don't fuck up.
Yeah. Well, as opposed, you have like a high performer and be like, you know what? I've been doing this and I've been doing this. I've been doing this. You know what? If you give me one more task, I'm going to go ahead and get that accomplished too, because I know you're not going to give me a larger enough workload to where I can't handle it. If you're giving it to me, I can handle it. I'm going to make this happen. Like that's a high performance thought process. Those are the leaders that give the principles of like, you can do it or any of these things, instead of just, you know what, you already have 3 things on your plate. The rule says you only have 3 things, so I'm gonna just move on. That person, 1, more than likely will never grow. 2, now you're resting on the laurels of rules and regulations, as opposed to this person, you could find his bag and his niche and he could run with it. Again, we said before, you want to train your replacement, and if you stick to just the rules and guidelines, you're not going to be able to find out who you can train to become that replacement. Who is the overachiever? Who is going to be accomplish something? Now, if you give this high performance more tasks than they can handle, if they're a high performance and they're actually a great employee, they're going to be like, you know what? I can handle all this, but something is going to give. I actually have a little too much on my plate. If you have a high performance that is good at their job, they will step up to the plate and then they will offer that. Yeah.
So, what's funny is, so NBA season's coming up, and I was listening to my team's coach. They had a media day, and they had, after his first practice or whatever, they had a media availability. And the coach said something, and I thought it was absolutely prolific. And I was like, I never thought about it like that. But he said, you know, you look at who's efficient in what they do, right? He's talking about basketball players. So he's like, you see somebody who shoots the 3-point shot at a high efficiency rate, 50%. Okay, that tells me that they can handle more shots throughout the season until their efficiency starts to dip, because then they're making bad shot selections. So then that tells me how much they can handle, because if they're super efficient, they need more on their plate because they're obviously have enough time on their hands to be able to kind of do stuff. So like, it kind of made me sit there and think, and I'm like, oh, that's true with people, because if they're super efficient with whatever, then they're going to get all that stuff done. They can handle more. You should give them more, right? If you got a high performer and he's super efficient, or she's super efficient, and they're getting everything done, give them more until something starts to buckle, until you start to see a decline in their work, and then back off a notch.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of just like sharing the workload and giving someone more on their plate just to see if they can actually handle it. Because without that, they will not grow. They will not take more shots. They will not, because if I'm only getting 10 shots, then so be it. As opposed to, no, you're going to take 12. You're going to take 15 this time.
Right. If they're taking 10 3-point shots in a game, and they're making them at, you know, let's call it 50%, which is a high rate of success in the NBA. And you go, man, 50% on 10 shots, that's pretty solid. Let me give you 12 to see what you do. And they're still making 50%. All right, let me give you 15, 16 shots. And there you go, all right, now it's 45, but it's still within the acceptable bounds. And all right, go ahead and take 20, and you see their efficiency dip to like 30%. Like, whoa, okay. Yeah. Let's back it down to like 18 to 16, and that's your sweet spot. I'm good with that. That tells me exactly where you need to be with your tasks and your task load to make sure everything's good to go. But, you know, principles, unlike rules, give people something unshakable to hold on to, yet also the freedom to make independent decisions and take actions to move toward a shared objective. So, you know, if you're giving them the more efficiency to people, more tasks, then the principal should guide them, and they could sit there and say, I need to do excellent. I need to be, you know, forthcoming and honest in everything that I do. And if they see their sales numbers, let's say, start to dip, you're like, why are your sales numbers dipping? I'm stretched too thin. Okay, got it. Would it help if I cut some of your clients over to a different salesman? Like, yeah, if they could take these people, because they take up a majority of my time. Yeah. I can't focus on everybody else, but if they could take, you know, one here, one there, that would really spread the load out and really help me out. Okay, done.
Well, principals have the power in that they communicate trust and demonstrate to employees that they have the freedom to use their judgment to reach the best decision through the principles with which we work. So if I'm giving that leeway, and I know fucking Mr. Johnny over here, it takes 3 hours to get something done, then I want Mr. Johnny to go to one of these other employees that have the time and patience to work with Mr. Johnny, and I can focus on the 19 others that I have. Mr. Johnny's just taking too much of my time. Without him, my performance is going to be amazing. With him, my performance is going to be great. So if you can take him to someone that likes spending that much time and actually can become a high performer with that individual and cater to his necessary needs of 3-hour time frames, whatever, perfect. In the meantime, you're trusting me to get these other 19 where they need to be. And my performance is excellent. And now whoever Mr. Johnny just got, their performance is also excellent, where everyone's moving towards that same common goal.
It's one of those things where, you know, there might be somebody who is phenomenal at detail work, and that's what Mr. Johnny requires. They may require a bunch of detailed work, and that person's great at that detail work. I'm great at handling a bunch of people, a bunch of small orders, and I can coordinate all these small orders really, really well. But that guy, he can coordinate the large orders and the detail with which the large orders require. He can take that time and he can deal with that sort of stuff. So he's excellent. I'm excellent. Everyone's getting taken care of. We're not missing a $5 million sale and then like, you know, a 250, a 500, a 750, and you know, another 250. And, you know, we're not missing out on those sales because I can coordinate all those sales. But his $5 million sale just takes so much of my time that I can't give my time for the $250,000 sale. Like, oh, well, we still want the $250,000 sales because that shit adds up. But, you know, like, I get what you're saying. So let's give that guy to this other dude. You know, let's give Mr. Johnny to whoever who can actually, you know, make it work. But, you know, how might you want to refine or create principles to guide your organization? So I would say that the first thing is you need to think of your organization at its best. Dig into root behaviors, conditions, and other factors to make things work well. Craft principles and to reflect and stimulate more of this positive energies, right? We got to go be optimistic.
Be optimistic.
Yeah. Ask, what happens when my staff is working at their best? How do they demonstrate initiative? And how are they free to exercise their best judgment? How are they free to use a black pen instead of a blue pen? How do they work best when I'm not in the picture and they only come to me for help? You know, do they come in at 7 o'clock and say, I'm going to knock out 6 phone calls and then I'm going to take a lunch from 11 to 1. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to knock out another 8 phone calls after lunch. You know, is that demonstrating initiative? Hell yes, it is. Just because they take a 2-hour lunch doesn't mean shit. If your guy is doing 14 phone calls in a day and everybody else is doing, you know, 10, I don't give a shit if they take a 2-hour lunch at all. You're doing more work than everybody else. You're doing 40% more work than everybody else. Take your 2-hour lunch, bro. I'm not going to be mad at it. Are you getting your work done? Yeah. Are you being initiative? Yeah. Is your work excellent? Yeah. Then all right. I have no problem.
That's that shows homage to the actual leadership keeping their principles moving forward and trusting in their team to follow the principles that are set. You got to be prepared to stand by your principles, especially when challenges arise. Remember, actions will always carry more weight than words. I've said actions speak louder than words. I say it all the time.
Always.
As a leader, the drive for success is relentless, but it's crucial to give your team core values the same focus as your primary goals. In doing so, you ensure those principles are truly lived out in your actions and decisions. The main thing with when I go over that, I think of not flip-flopping on your values, your core values, your principles that you're leading your team with. The moment that wavers, then the kind of trust in your leadership is going to waver.
Well, yeah, it's like, so if you say, hey, I trust you guys to get the work done, and I trust you guys to do X, Y, and Z, like, and let's just use that example, like, I trust you guys to get your work done and manage your own schedules, and then your boss comes down and says, why is, half your workforce still at lunch? It's 1 o'clock. Our lunch is from 11 to noon. And you go, and you're like, oh yeah, you're right, boss. I'm going to call them back right now. Nobody's going to trust you ever to have their back.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's ever going to trust you again. But if you sit there and go, well, boss, the reason that they're at lunch is because they did 6 calls this morning and they do 8 calls in the afternoon, or 8 calls in the morning and 6 calls in the afternoon, whatever it is. They're getting 14 calls done while all the other teams are averaging 11 calls in a day. So we're doing more work and I'm letting them manage their own schedules, and you kind of stick by your principles, and your boss, as long as your boss goes, yeah, okay, that makes sense. If your boss is a dick and they say no rules are rules, everyone has to follow these rules, that's when you as a leader have to step up and go, no. Do we want the work done, or do we want or do we care more about rules, or do we want, all these sales? Because if we want all these sales, I'm gonna let them do their thing. If we care about the rules, then I'll make them do the rules, but they're gonna not do as many calls.
Moving forward, I mean, you want to make your principles public. You don't want to keep it a secret from everyone. You want to post them in conference rooms and the work areas. You want people to understand what your principles are. You want to encourage your staff to refer to principles if they have to explain why they made a certain decision. The more principles are part of the daily life, the greater the impact they will have. I know a lot of times, when people are calling into the head office and they're like, "Well, why'd you do this?" They a lot of times they think they're in trouble. But in hindsight, if you stick to the principles that you were trained and taught by your leadership, and use that as the focus for whatever the reason that you got called in office for, they shouldn't have a leg to stand on. This is the principles and the values that I have been trained and taught, and this is what I go by. And especially if you can point to the principles principle 1 is this, principle 2 is that, and I did both those. So I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah, it just increases your trust in your leadership to where, if you sit there and say the principle is, get the company profitable and make the correct decisions. Okay, well, I'm making the correct decisions. I'm getting more work done than everybody else, but you're over here questioning why I'm taking an hour and a half lunch when I had a doctor's appointment. I went to my doctor's appointment. I went and grabbed some food, and I came right back to my desk. Why is that an issue? Well, our lunch is from 11 to 12, and you took from 11 to 12:30. Well, okay, yes, I did, but I scheduled my doctor's appointment. I made some phone calls on the way out to lunch, grabbed my lunch, and I made some phone calls on the way back, and I got 3 expense reports to type up because, or 3 sales to type up because I made those phone calls on the way to and from work and lunch and everything else. Oh, okay. Well, if you're not cared about that, if you're only cared about the day-to-day stuff, then, people aren't going to want to work for you very long.
It goes back up to what we were talking about at the top.
Yeah. And you need, if they're able to stand by it, then the leaders are able to stand by it, then the bosses should stand by it. And if the bosses don't stand by it, then it's one of those situations where you have some bad management at the top, and your company's probably not going to last very long.
Okay. Well, we did a lot of talking about the principles, sir, and I'm just saying, leadership of the Leaf has a principle.
We do.
Our podcast is a journey where leadership, wisdom, both new and timeless, meets the world of fine cigars. We aim to share insights, enjoy a laugh, and savor the rich aroma of cigars while imparting practical leadership advice. It's about embracing growth, camaraderie, and the simple joys of life, all wrapped in a fine cigar.
Very, very well said, good sir. Very well said. Yeah, it absolutely is. We love to share leadership advice. The world of leadership is constantly changing, and it's one of those things. I think that is a fluid situation. It changes kind of with the culture. If you think about, there was a form, as a satirical form that floated around when you and me were at the same place together, and it was called a hurt feelings report. I don't know if you remember.
I do remember. I still have that.
Yeah, and it's kind of the base message was basically like toughen the fuck up, right?
Yeah.
Somebody hurts your feelings, toughen up. But nowadays, you sit there and you say, "Did you submit a hurt feelings report?" That could almost be construed as toxic leadership because you're telling somebody to toughen up and we don't care about your problem. There needs to be a balance between those two things, right? Like, we have to be strong, we have to lead with strength, but we also have to lead with empathy and compassion. And I think, there's new and timeless leadership wisdom that comes with every new iteration, every new generation of leaders. Because the Generation Alpha, the Generation Z, those guys and gals, they have leadership qualities. They just they have to learn, and they have to figure out how they're going to lead. And they're going to lean on that timeless stuff, and then they're also going to lean on what they think and what works for them. Now the fast risers and stuff like that, they're going to lean on more rules than principles.
I think that's due to the lack of skill set in the whole leadership realm, which is part of the reason why we are doing a podcast with leadership involvement. Because I think a lot of younger or fast risers, whatever, they fall more on the rules and regulations to a leadership concept, to where leadership, as you was explaining, is more fluid. Just bottom line up front, principles are directional, whereas rules are directive.
Yeah, it's very well said. This cigar is trying to direct me in a way, but I can't figure out what fucking way it's directing me.
I will have to admit that I will have to buy another one of these. I have to get maybe 2 or 3 more of these just to try to figure out this flavor profile, because I'm pretty confident you're leading to the final third of the cigar.
I am. I'm trying to figure out what the final third is, because it's not posted fucking anywhere.
I'm sitting here thinking. I'm gonna say it's giving me a barnyard flavor profile of turnips. I'm gonna go turnips and beets.
If only you'd watched the U.S. Office.
Yeah, I've only watched the British one.
I am aware of what you've done, but I want to say a line right now so bad that you wouldn't get the reference.
I won't get the reference, but you know who will get the reference?
Our listeners.
Any listener out there that has watched The Office and loved it religiously, the U.S. version is actually very successful.
Bear, Beat, Battlestar Galactica. I did it. That's not a joke, Jim. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I guess the barnyard, there's a spice on the back end. I feel like it's an allspice. Now, it's gotten a little bit more spicy towards the end.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say allspice. And, it's interesting, to say the least. Again, this one's hard to put my finger on. But I got to know, is it single, 5-pack, or box loaded?
It's time to answer the question. Is the cigar box worthy, 5-pack, or just 1 or 2?
Well, that's going to be a trick question, because it's kind of a double-fold answer. If I'm just going off based on what I have right now, is definitely, in my opinion, a single or even 2. But the reason why it says a double-fold answer is because I 100% will be buying more of these because I want to figure it out.
I get what you're saying.
So, and then I will more than likely, if I see a 5-pack, I will buy a 5-pack. But it's not because of the cigar, it's because it's intriguing and I don't like being puzzled.
Okay. I can understand where you're coming from. For me, right now, I can tell you 100% it's a single. The flavor profile, whatever it is, I'm not a fan. It's just the mustiness, the figginess, prunish, whatever we want to fucking call it, does not jive with my palate very well, and I'm not a huge fan of it. Now, I'm not saying that it's a bad cigar by any means. It's just this one just doesn't jive with what I am looking for in a cigar, and I'm not saying it's because I don't understand it. It's just it doesn't taste good to me. It's
Okay.
it's kind of meh.
Well, I will say that I'm sorry to cut you off, man, but I will say it burned. Mine burned. I had to relight one time. That's probably from talking. The cigar burned almost even all the way through. It was a little hard to touch at the beginning, but I mean, I punched it and it burned flawless. The wrapper and everything on it, other than the cap, everything for mine was like great.
Yeah, no, it's well-constructed cigar. Don't get me wrong.
100%.
The flavor profile is just not what I enjoy. I started out with the mustiness of the barnyard, and it just didn't taste that great to me.
Okay. Well, fair enough. What I will do, whenever I will do it, I will reach out to Rick Ross, not the rapper. I'm gonna reach out to Rick Ross and just like see if he can give their stat sheet on it.
Yeah, it's a very intriguing cigar. It doesn't hit my flavor profile. It's not like I'm like, ooh, I would love to smoke another one of these, and I can't wait. Like, that's not what it's about. If I pick up another one of these, it's gonna be, what the fuck was that taste?
Yeah.
And can I get somebody else who maybe has a more developed palate, or just somebody else who has a different background than I do, and say, hey, what do you think of this cigar? What do you taste in this cigar? Stuff like that. But I just don't see myself going, oh, I wish I had a 5-pack of these so I could reach in every once in a while and grab them.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not there.
Myself there. It's just, I get what you're saying about the 5-pack of like, oh, if I had a 5-pack, I'd smoke them to figure out what the fuck this is. I get that answer, but for me, it's just not what I'm looking for in a cigar.
And if someone says, I'm getting chocolate and cedar, I'm going to say you're a fucking liar, and I will never trust them again.
Yeah. Like I said, there's an allspice component to the back end. The musty barnyard doesn't do it for me. There's no sweetness. There's no balance to it. It's just off-putting.
Very fair assessment. And that's our opinion. And it's our podcast. So take it or leave it. I do advise, pick one up, give it a try, see what you think. Hit us up on Leadership of the Leaf Instagram or email us. Yeah, and I'm not saying that, like I said, it's not a bad cigar. It was very well constructed. It burned really well. I did have to touch it up once towards the end, probably again due to talking. But I just am not a fan of the flavor profile. All right. Well, for this podcast episode, we touched on principles of smoking a cigar and principles of becoming a leader. Yeah. Why you should push principles more than rules. Right. And until next time, I'm Dice. And I'm Austin. And great leaders smoke great cigars.
Thank you for listening to Leadership of the Leaf. The comments and opinions expressed by the host and guests does not reflect the opinions of those that broadcast this show, nor does it reflect any of our affiliates.